Hello, you're watching Team Starcraft. My name is Joe Starcraft, and this is my cast. Before I start anything, I just wanted to let you guys know that I recently watched X-Men First Class, and I think it was a pretty awesome movie. Yeah. I never expected it because these Fox people did butcher the last X-Men movie, which was like X-Men 3, and they kind of destroyed the Wolverine origin. So I mean, I'm quite a Marvel fan, and it's always nice to see that sometimes they could get it right. So there's a lot of cameos there too. So I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but go out and watch it. It's a pretty good movie. Having said that, let's take a look at our opponents. We have a double Terran team here. So I never really casted a double Terran team, and his name is WindcutterX and Woodcutter. And here's Blue Terran. His name is RiceRiceRice, and I guess he is another Asian person that we're facing off against. And Terran is one of those races, or double Terran. They're one of the teams that actually could utilize blocks, and they could benefit a whole lot from doing blocks because they're both able to create buildings that allows for a good block. Because if you have a Zerg partner, you really can't block, because one thing, Zerg has creep, the other thing is Zerg needs to build on creep. So most of the time Zerg creep does not extend further into the ramp area where it allows them to creep and build buildings there. So it's not really a very good blocking race. And then plus Lings are very fast, and they're very fast, so you don't really need to defend very much, and they can produce a lot of units at the same time, so it doesn't really, like, Zerg really don't need a block. So let's take a look at their builds, and it seems to me that they're going quite standard build. They start his orbital. He hasn't fully saturated his refinery yet, but I'm guessing that he will very soon. So let's take a look at what Blue's doing. He hasn't got his orbital yet, but he's starting on it now. But he saturate his refinery, and guys, make sure you don't forget to saturate your refinery when there's such thing as a harass or anything going on. Please make sure to check out your refinery, and they'll tell you how many harvesters are mining from there. And I actually decided to gas rush this person because Terran, Terrans, when they block off, they could go a lot of builds, such as factory builds, Banshee builds. What build that we face most common is one person going Marine Marauder, the other person going Banshees. So I canceled it just before he built, just before he destroyed it completely. So I think I didn't lose a lot of minerals, and at the same time I delayed his gas timing because he's actually going factory. So he's actually moving on to Starport build too. So he's actually building his refinery really late. So he's not gonna be getting the units that he would want. So let's take a look at what my partner's doing. And he started to go Stargates. So this is actually an interesting new strategy my partner actually suggested. Is he going Stargate? He will build perhaps maybe 3 to 4 or 4 to 6 Phoenixes, since they're the fastest unit in the game. Plus they're like mutas, but not as effective, but they're so fast, so they could do multiple functions. For example, they could go scout the enemy base, or they could lift SCVs up and destroy them. So they could do harass, they could scout the map because they're so fast, and at the same time they will buy you time for expansions. So if you could tell, I'm actually going a factory build myself, and I did get my first tank out, and I think I am researching siege mode. And instead of going a starport, I decided to go the second barracks, because my refinery, if you wanted to go a starport build, your refinery should be coming in right after your first barracks, your second refinery. That's what I'm talking about. So let's see how many Phoenixes are building. There's 3 Phoenixes building on. Let's take a look at whether they're ready to handle this rush, Phoenix rush. And they are not. And a lot of times double Terran teams will not build a lot of Marines in the beginning, because they would rather have Marauders, or as you can tell, they'd rather have Marauders than Marines right now. But the other thing about this strategy is that if the Terran scouts this out with a scan, which is highly unlikely because of the fact that they're more likely to use those energy for mules. So it's highly unlikely that they will actually scout them out. And then blue's actually expanding right now, and the phoenixes are actually moving out right as we speak. So they have no defense against the phoenixes right now, and it seems to me that they're gonna be losing quite a few SCVs if they do not prepare for this appropriately. And you could tell Red Terran is actually finished his command center and he's working on his orbital. And here comes the phoenixes. 1 kill, 2 kill, 3 kill. And the workers die in like 2 hits from phoenixes because each phoenix hit does 10 damage to light units, and they fire twice. So each beam does 10 damage. And there comes a Viking to, I guess he had a pretty good foresight to have a Viking out, but it seems to me that Viking will not do much against this group of phoenixes. There's just too many. So he's picking them up, destroying individual SCVs as they come by. And he's doing pretty good damage right now because they're frantically trying to defend against this rush, but it's very difficult because phoenixes are very, very fast. So let's take a look at the kill counts for our phoenixes, and we have 2 kills on this phoenix, and there's 2 kills on that phoenix. So they got around 10 kills in my opinion. So I think they did pretty good damage. The money spent was well invested, and at the same time it allows for us to expand ourselves. Right over here and right over here. So I'm setting up, trying to create some defensive formations. And against double Terran, as a Terran yourself, you should be building a lot of tanks, because most of Terran units could be stopped by tanks. And since my partner actually went Phoenixes, I don't have to worry about Banshees. So I could go a double factory build right now, which I don't have. I'm still building my barracks. And we could tell that Red actually expanded down here, which I recommend against expanding down here. I know it's a close distance to float away from their main, but if they had expanded here, then it's harder for us to harass. Maybe he tried to pull some sort of like a secret base strategy, but with phoenixes flying around, it's highly unlikely that they're gonna get away with this. So there's a bunch of SCVs that are getting picked up and being destroyed, and they got around 5 SCVs again. So let's take a look at the SCV counts. Oh, so let's look at our units lost count, and Red Terran has actually lost 16 units, and I'm guessing that he did lose around 10 SCVs in the process. And as you can see, they're actually countering right now because they do realize that we do not have sufficient ground forces to stop this attack, because my partner actually went to Phoenixes, and Red has stemmed in, and he's running in, and he's running into my tank line, and there's actually a miss from me, because I should have set up way before they actually attack. I should have set them up and then had some free shots before actually have them running in. So we have my partner actually decided to go on to DT build, which is not doing much right now. And it seems to me that we're in quite a bit of trouble because of the fact that we don't have any ground forces. I have 1 tank to defend against them that are just they're out of range. But my partner has enough phoenixes so where he could just pick up Marines, because Marines are the only ones that could hit our phoenixes. So they're moving out. They're moving on to my other expansion, while these phoenixes are picking them off one by one. They're whittling their army size down one by one. And they're actually after my expansion, and it forces me to reinforce my SCVs and run away, because you never want to fight a bunch of stint marauders, and these marauders are doing number to my SCV count right now. The units lost count seems to me that we lost way more than they did so far, and we might be able to hold this off if they are not countering, and they are not countering, and Red was unable to expand onto his expansion right over here, so thus we're not really behind, but at the same time we should be vigilant about their army moving out as well. So I have a group of Marines that are going around without stim pack just to check out where their expansions are. And there's a little miss from me because I should have had a stim pack much earlier, but I did decide to go factory. So I think Stimpack's being researched now. So Stimpak is researched very late. And my reasoning behind the fact that I got the shield first before Stimpak is because I wanted chump blockers. The shield gives Marines at least, I believe they give around 20 to 15 extra life. And in a fight against other siege tanks, if they die by siege tanks by 2 hits, it makes a big deal, because if they die to siege tanks by 1 hit, it means that they'll die by 1 hit. But if they die to siege tanks by 2 hits, it allows them to live 1 more round of bombardment, so that my siege tanks don't have to take those bombardments. So a lot of times people need to think about what they need to build and what they need to upgrade while they're facing off against specific race matchups, because if they don't, then little advantages here and there is always a nice thing. And I think shield in this situation was a better call, but Stimpaks are always nice too.